Wheel spin no matter what. But no matter what I say, it ain't a real supercar until it's faced the ultimate test. Now, some say he's the next stage in the human evolution of hand-eye coordination. Some believe he's the secret love child of the Queen, angelic knight Jack Murray. But we all know it's time to release the Stig. Not too much wheel spin off the line, that was good. Down into the question mark. A little bit of understeer there, as you can see. Look at the tyre width differential there. All that rubber just trying to get the power down through Clarkson. Very easy on the throttle. He could just rip our track to bits if he wasn't careful. Over the crest and down through the left-hander into 4. This is the critical corner. A little bit of understeer there, you can see the thing pushing, using all of the track. Oh, a little bit sideways, head down and bum up. This will feel like that to the Stig. It won't take a second. Believe me, I know how fast that feels. Down through the chicane, trust me, he lifted big time. Out through the chicane and down into 06, wandering all over the place under brakes, just trying to wash the speed off. Just very, very delicate does it. Through the bus stop, he's looking pretty smooth. Last part of it, come on. Head down and bum up and across the line. Goes the Stig. Man, there is no substitute for horsepower.
That did look fast.
It was fast. I can tell you, the Stig did that in the GT Ford in a 1:08.80. We have a new supercar time.
No. Hang on. We need to qualify that, Charlie.
Oh,
hang on a minute. The GTR did that time with a 180k speed limiter in effect. Actually, the Stig said, with sign language, that he was on the speed limiter all the way past the chicane into 06. When you think about that, that's pretty impressive.
Oh, it is, but I mean, he wasn't bored in this, I can guarantee you. I'm on all the straights over.
Yeah, when you think about it, it's got four-wheel drive. It's only 3/4 of a second behind the Ford GT. That's pretty good, don't you reckon?
Well, that's pretty good, mate, but look, traction is very overrated.
Actually, yeah, Nissan, 180k speed limiter. What were you thinking?
No, Steve, you don't deliver it like that. You deliver it like this. What were they thinking? Now, if you were going to buy an Australian car in the 1970s, you'd go to the big three: Holden, Ford and Chrysler, or what we used to call Valiant. But for a time there were the big four, hey lads, because Leyland decided it would build the ultimate Australian motor car by building the P76. A car sort of famous because you could drop a 44-gallon drum in the boot. I don't know why you'd want to drop a 44-gallon drum in the boot, but you could. Now, in its death throes, Leyland decided it would build a GT to take on two-door Falcons and Monaros, and it was this, the Force 7. This is the only P76 in which you could not put a 44-gallon drum. And why would you buy a P76 if you couldn't put a bloody 44-gallon drum in it? What were they thinking? Don't you agree, Charlie?
Yes, I do agree.
Good work. Steve, what have you got?
Well, does everybody remember the Lotus floating car, the one that went underwater in the James Bond movie? I think it was The Spy Who Loved Me.
It was, yeah.
Remember that car? Well, yeah, there's a Swiss guy that decided to do this, and he's called it the Scuba. Right? So the marketing department went overboard with that. So he's got a perfectly good Lotus, ripped the engine out of it and put two 14-kilowatt electric motors in that thing so it can go underwater.
So water and electricals. It's a very nice mix.
You know, that's a really good mix. So I reckon this is, what were they thinking for this week for me? Right there.
Mate, I have absolutely followed your 70s theme. 1971, I give you the E38 Valiant. You had to win at Bathurst, so they came up with this fabulous new engine for this model. It was an absolute belter, really going to do the job. Tons and tons of horsepower. Bear in mind, it's up against GT Falcons, 350 Monaros. So the boys down in there in the engineering said, oh, what do you reckon we'll need for a gearbox? Oh, well, I got a 3-speed in me ute. 3 it is then. So they went to Bathurst with the E38 with a 3-speed gearbox. Valiant, what were you thinking? We'll be back faster than a torque flight. Valiant changes gear. Australia, three key elements really define us. You're either Liberal or Labor, you like Aussie rules or rugby league, and you either like Fords or Holdens. It's in our DNA.
Actually, what about those people that vote for the Greens, drive a Toyota and play soccer?
No. It's more important than that. The Holden Ford thing is really the guts of everything. It can divide families. So I grew up in a Holden family. My dad drove Holdens, my grandfather drove Holdens. So I saved up, got my first car, and I bought a Falcon just to annoy my dad.
And we know that we're going to annoy you. Well, at least half of you anyway, because no matter what the result of this test is, half of you are going to think that we're brilliant, insightful road testers, and the other half are going to think we're a pack of turkeys that have no idea. And you'd both be right. It's a really simple concept, Charlie. We've got two iconic Aussie cars, two race drivers and a racetrack. And we're going to put them through a series of exercises that'll test what an Aussie car really should be capable of.
He means drive like hooligans.
Yeah. Our first test is a classic Aussie tradition. A burn off at the traffic lights. But before we did anything, I felt it was important that we warm up the tyres. The Ford F6 is a 4-litre turbocharged inline 6 with double overhead cams. Ooh.
Whereas the club sport is pure Aussie muscle. A hairy-chested push-rod 6.2-litre V8 with overhead valves. Wow.
OK, CC, in drive.
Traction on.
Aircon to 20.
I was going to cheat and turn it off, but I wouldn't dream of it.
OK, 3,
2, 1. Go.
Come on, big V8. Oh, yeah.
Oh, nothing off the line. Here she comes.
He's gaining. We jumped off the line, but he is gaining.
Come on.
Come on, car, come on.
Now we're singing. Charlie, that's bloody close. Who won that?
I got a sinking feeling your bonnet crossed the line first, but the rest of my car had great attitude. Next up, a braking test. Steve suggested we swap cars to keep it fair. I suggested we should warm up the tyres first. Now, I'm doing the brake test in your car. What's the catch?
Nothing. I just put an oxyacetylene torch to the front brakes. I'll be fine.
Mwah!
OK, Charlie, follow me. 100 k's an hour, side by side.